Hello and welcome to today's video. So I'm going to be trying to do a monthly TBR. I have never tried this before, but I have been in such a reading slump while getting my master's because for the past 3 years I've been given at least 12 books a semester to read, and it has just totally wiped any creative not creative, but wanting to read anything else because there's just so much to do. But this is my final semester, this is my graduating semester, and I don't have a reading list for the first time since 2020. So it actually feels really nice not to have books that I have to read, but books that I want to read. So that being said though, I did decide to play Bookopoly again because I put a lot of time and effort into making this board back in, 2019, and I only used it one time. So I did decide to go ahead and pick up the board again and try to create a TBR. So a TBR is to be read, books that I want to read this month. So I'm going to roll 4 times and pick 4 books. I do still have a couple of books that I have to read for graduation, for my graduating project, but I'm gonna try and incorporate them either into the Bookopoly or just kind of add them on. So that is the current plan. All right, so welcome to Bookopoly. Cooper has decided to join us. He's very mad because I won't let him chew on the board. Stop. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the first roll, which is 3.
Editing Rachel here. That was very obviously a 4. I think Cooper's nose maybe covered part of it, but we're gonna go ahead and roll with the fact that I thought it was a 3.
1, 2. Oh boy, a classic. So for my first roll, I got classic. I probably haven't read like a classic book since high school because in my master's, I don't really read classics. Anyways, long story, but yeah, I can't remember the last time I read a classic, but I do collect a specific classic like cover edition. And I thought it was really interesting that I rolled this because one of my grandmother's favorite books was Anne of Green Gables. It's one of the first classic books I ever read. I was in elementary school and I didn't appreciate it at the time. But in light of everything that's happened over the past few months, I just kind of felt like it was perfect to fulfill this prompt. So the first book on my TBR is going to be Anne of Green Gables. So I remember nothing about this book, but from what I understand, it follows like an 11-year-old girl named Anne who gets adopted by a family, and it turns out the family didn't want a girl, they wanted a boy. So she moves out to this farm, and before they can send her back, which sounds awful, she tries to convince them that they do want her. So that is kind of the gist of the book. I'm very intrigued to see how it plays out. I also think there's a Netflix show maybe, or some sort of show called Anne. So kind of excited for that too. Maybe I'll jump into that. I know my Nana maybe watched the first episode or maybe the first couple of episodes, and she had talked about it. So yeah, I'm excited. Well, I don't know if I'm excited. It's definitely something different, but I kind of feel like I need different right now just because I've been in such a reading slump that I think different will really help pick me up. That was 8. Coop. I swear to God. I swear to God. All right, so I did roll an 8 before Cooper stole it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Mental health. This is proving to be very difficult, but we've landed on mental health. So the next roll was mental health, which is actually perfect for my graduation project. The vague kind of concept to my graduation project is exploring mental health in YA literature and like this falls perfectly. One of the books that me and my graduation professor had agreed on was Every Last Word. I have owned this book probably for I don't know how many years at this point, and it's just been sitting on my shelf. So I am super excited to finally dive into it. So Every Last Word follows the story of a teenage girl named Samantha who suffers from purely obsessional OCD. So Sam hangs out with a popular crowd at school, but does not express to them kind of what she's going through, and she's afraid to. And honestly, from what I understand, Sam, who is in the popular girl crowd, meets another girl named Caroline who does not fit in with that crowd. So her sense of humor is different, her sense of style is different. And so Sam kind of creates these two different worlds that she lives in. And my guess is that these worlds are going to implode. But that is about as much as I know about the story. But I am really excited to dive into it. So that is 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my God, the one square I didn't want to land on. Okay, a 5-star prediction. The next roll that I got was 5-star predictions, which is the one square I did not want to land on because it's right behind me. I have a stack of books to film for a new 5-star predictions video, but I have not filmed it yet. So I went back to my old 5-star predictions video from like 3 years ago when my hair was fully pink. I do kind of miss that vibe, but I took a look and I had read a good majority of those books now, but one that I have not read that I definitely do want to is How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glasgow. So her book, Girl in Pieces, is part of my master's graduating project, but How to Make Friends with the Dark is one of her books that I haven't read, but I would definitely like to. Last summer, I think, I was assigned another one of her books, and I will put the title here because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was raw, real, and I absolutely loved it. I wrote probably 2 times the amount that my paper needed to be on the book because I just had so many feelings about it. So I'm really excited for How to Make Friends with the Dark. Kathleen Glasgow just seems to have a way with words and kind of describing situations that most people wouldn't find themselves in, but that you can sympathize with that character and feel every emotion that they go through. And she has turned out to be one of my favorite all-time authors, so I'm really excited to dive into How to Make Friends with the Dark. So this story follows a girl named Tiger, and Tiger's mother unexpectedly dies. Tiger and her mother were 2 against the world, and suddenly Tiger is left on her own. And that is about as much as I know about the story, and that's kind of all that I want to know going in, but I expect to go on a heartbreak journey on this one. And final roll, 4, 4, and 8. So turn the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Magical realism. What an interesting time we've had here today. Oh, great. And my final roll was magical realism, which is kind of perfect because I have been waiting to read this book. I just have not had the time, but I'm going to be picking up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I feel like everybody and their grandmother has talked about this book and everybody knows about this book. I have not read the synopsis and I know nothing about it. I am buddy reading it with my friend Victoria, so I'm not sure that it'll get done in the month of February, but we are definitely starting it and I am so excited. But yeah, other than all of the hype about this book, I don't know a single thing about it, and I think that's kind of how I want to keep it. So aside from those 4 books, I think I already mentioned the other books that I need to read for my final master's semester. I definitely won't get to all of these in the month of February. My capstone is due at the end of March though, so I will definitely be getting to them. But the other books that are on my TBR are Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, Eliza and Her Monsters, which was actually on my 5-star predictions list. I have already read it. I did give it 5 stars, spoiler alert. But I just think it is an amazing take on mental health and YA literature, and I'm excited to incorporate it into my project. And then Breathing Underwater. So this is a book that I also have previously read, and it's an interesting book. I think I'll leave it there, but it is an interesting take on mental health as we are in the shoes of someone who has been abused, physically and mentally abused throughout his life, and has taken on those traits and lashed out toward his girlfriend, and now is having to discover why. I don't want to say why it's wrong, but like what made him do that and why it's not okay. And I think it's a really interesting take on mental health, and so that is also included in my graduating project. So yeah, those are the books that I am looking forward to reading. Definitely the ones from Bookopoly, and then my graduation project is added in there as well. I definitely have been very touch and go with this YouTube channel. I think the last video I uploaded was 2022 New Year's resolutions. I am not going to promise an upload schedule. I do have several videos planned that I would like to film and that I'm excited to film, but I understand that in the past I have said that as well and then didn't end up doing it. I do just want to reiterate though that my master's is coming to an end, and I'm excited to have some time for my hobbies again because really these past few years have been all about thesis, writing, getting stuff done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and check out at the end of the month how I did on this TBR. But I do have a few more videos planned. I want to do a new 5-star predictions video as well as a follow-up on the last 5-star predictions I did. One of my favorite videos to film that I have consistently done every year is books to read. So like last year I did 22 books to read in 2022. Obviously I didn't read 22 books, but I still want to do 23 books to read in 2023 because I just love making those lists. But yeah, that's just some of the things that I would like to start doing this month and then beyond. So I hope to see you guys around on my channel. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.